超强卡司只是锦上添花，这一系列最大的卖点就是阿汤哥不靠绿幕特效，挑战一个又一个的不可能。
And we saw car chases and helicopter chases million times in movies, but you wow us again every second of it. So how did you get inspired, and which action scene took you most time to finish?
Oh, it took the most time to shoot. Well, that's a good question. I would say the car chase in Paris obviously took a long time to plan. And required a lot of cooperation from the city of Paris.
没错，你看到的正是阿汤哥没戴安全帽，在巴黎大街小巷飙重机。这是剧组拍摄的第一场大型动作场面，70辆车同时穿梭，还要不撞到他，光看就让人捏把冷汗。
Tom riding a motorcycle against traffic around the Arc de Triomphe.
人包铁在换铁包人，阿汤哥驾驶技术超强，甩尾没在怕的。可怜是坐在旁边的反派西恩哈里斯，因为戏份要求整场戏都得板着脸面无表情，但他心里的 OS 应该是什么时候可以回家。
The halo jump took the longest time to physically complete.
除了遁地，还得飞天。阿汤哥成为史上第一个挑战高空低开的演员。
We were shooting for a month, and then there were months and months and months of visual effects that went into it.
I know you and Tom discussed this over the years.
Yes, we had talked about it, and when we were planning the Paris sequence, someone showed us a picture of the Grand Palais from up above, and we thought how fantastic it would look for, to come down on it from the air. And that's when the halo jump fell into this story.
剧情需要，这场戏必须在黄昏拍摄，这可大大限制了拍摄时间。每天的落日时间短暂，顶多只能拍一次就收工。他们每天的准备工作是这样的：阿汤哥先练习跳伞4到6次，到黄昏拍摄时正式跳1次。身经百战的空中摄影师顶着9公斤的摄影镜头，亦步亦趋的和阿汤哥在空中跳着双人舞。虽然就短短3个镜头，最后可是跳了100多次，换来的血汗呐。
Were you on the plane, or you just stay on the ground?
I was, yes, I was on the plane for most of them. There were times when it made more sense for me to be on the ground. When they were rehearsing, then I could review footage, talk to the cameraman, and send them back up again. But I was also up in the plane, depending on what they were doing.
After shooting, he will discuss all the clips with you during the night. And was it a routine on set every day, every night?
Yes, every day. And it was kind of a strange, it was a little bit of a strange grind because we only had 3 shots that we needed to get. But each of those shots, you had 3 minutes a day to get them. So every day you would shoot thinking you only had 3 more days. And when you didn't get the shot, the next day you still had 3 more days. So time was very strange. It felt like time was standing still.
Showtime.
Oh my God.
I'm not an easy man to impress, especially when I saw Tom doing the helicopter stunts. I was impressed.
Helicopter chase took the longest to physically shoot.
I'm gonna look down and I'll take it over the waterfalls. I enter it right away.
Let's go.
Back up, friends. Head to helicopter.
From a fan to a co-star, and what was on your mind when you in the first row to witness all Tom Cruise stunts?
I tell you, I'm not an easy man to impress. I know some fairly impressive people, and when especially when I saw Tom doing the helicopter stunts.
We're good, we're rolling.
I was impressed. That's when something really switched in my head. I mean, Tom's a lovely and impressive man anyway, but that was something which actually put him into the true impressive category, because he's flying a helicopter, doing stunts in the mountains in a helicopter, which is incredibly dangerous.
I'm gonna go.
And also performing to cameras at the same time.
God.
So his focus is not just on flying, it's on making sure the cameras catch his face from outside, the cameras catch his face from inside, and that is not an easy thing to do. So yeah, I was impressed.
Have you ever seen Tom as a little bit nervous or anxious on set?
No, No.
Really?
Tom. If he is nervous, he doesn't let us know. I'm sure he has some nervous moments, of course, especially when he's like my health is at risk because of him flying a helicopter. But he always puts on a strong and brave face. The most challenging stunt for me was probably the helicopter sequence in New Zealand. It was obviously winter in New Zealand, and we were in the mountains in a helicopter, and my doors were open, and that made it very,
dangerous.
Very cold. Well, dangerous, yes. But I was more concerned with the cold.
Did you try to grab?
I held on to as much as I could when I was allowed, but unfortunately, I had to have the machine gun out the window, so it was a bit difficult.
And you must be worried like hell every day on set while Tom perform all the stunt. And which scene worry you most?
I think what worries me most is I'm more worried for me than I am for Tom.
Why?
Tom's very experienced. He knows what he's doing, and he's very professional. He's very careful, and he has a very good team around him, all the riggers and all the stunt coordinators. It's when he's in a helicopter and I have to chase after him, or when he's hanging off a mountain and I have to lean off the mountain to give him direction. That's the only time I'm really nervous.
自由落体、飞天遁地，这么多惊险动作，阿汤哥却是在这一跳受了伤。
You know, it's one of those things.
How about the first reaction when you saw him broke his ankle?
Well, that was terrible. My first thought was I hope he was okay, and once I knew he was all right and that we were only dealing with a broken ankle, I knew that somehow we were going to find a way to make that work to our advantage. We've just made enough movies that when things go wrong, that's when people do their best work.
即使当下立刻知道完蛋受伤了，阿汤哥还是忍痛站起来继续完成这个镜头。后续复原也从医生说的9个月缩短到10个星期后继续跑。阿汤哥，你真的好神！
It's really like a roller coaster ride, and not because of the action scene, but it was such an emotional ride too, and it's very different. And you use different approach this time, right?
All the Mission Impossible movies have a different director, and it's what the fans of the franchise have come to expect, and I wanted to maintain that for them. So it meant changing direction, even though the last film had worked as well as it had. Very early on, I said to Tom, I want to make a more emotional movie. I want to make a movie that's more about Ethan's character. And it worked out.
Last time you told me that you and Tom work out all the action scenes first and connecting all the dots.
Yes.
And this time you developed the character first, or?
Yes, we started with Ethan's character arc, and we really started with the story of Ethan and Julia. Tom had said right from the beginning, I said, if you could do one thing, what would it be? And he said, people keep asking me about Julia, and I want to answer those questions for them, and that's where we started.
Being in the front row to see Tom and Christopher working together, what did you see as difference from other director and actor relationship?
You know, obviously they have an understanding of each other, of each other's ways. So it's just very, very calm on the set, always, and communication between the two of them was really easy. And I think a lot of things had probably been worked out before, and they were always just day to day, week to week, month to month, from start to finish, just giving it the full measure of their devotion.
It sounds like a very difficult task for you to finish all in the movie.
Well, we like to say, my assistant director, Tommy Gormley, would always say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so you just kept focused on the thing you had to do that was right in front of you, and you try not to think about the whole thing.